welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are so excited to be here talking with one of our favorite Hall stars here. We have Kristoffer Polaha here on the podcast, and I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Anna's here.
Hey, everybody.
And Kristoffer, thank you so much for coming on talking with us.
You're so welcome, Rachel.
Yeah, so we haven't talked to you since we did our ranking episode last year in 2020. So it's been about a year and a half since we've had you on the show. So how you been?
I've been good. Things have been well. How have you been? Congratulations on the acceptance into the Critics Association. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big honor, very exciting to get made a member of the Hollywood Critics Association. And I never thought I'd hear my name alongside Hollywood or anything.
Pretty cool,
So,
right?
very exciting. But yeah, you've had quite the post-COVID year, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, it's been, COVID, it's like survivor's guilt, when there's an awful tragedy that happens and you happen to be in the same building, but you walk out unscathed,
right?
Almost better for it. You have this weird feeling of like, well, I mean, and with COVID, as the world shut down, I don't know what happened. I had an explosion of creativity, and Anna Gomez and I partnered up, and we were able to write moments like this during the quarantine that I was in for Jurassic. And then that book was released in March, and you guys were awesome to support it. Your listeners and the readers who picked that book up, we sold 10,000 copies in the first month. I mean, it was an unbelievable success. And I've got a producer friend who you guys actually know. I will keep everything unofficial and off the record, and I won't name names right now, but we are currently in talks to turn moments like this into a film. Book 2 is coming out in the end of March of 2022, which was written during quarantine of Mystery 101 and throughout the course of this year. For 2 Mystery 101s, there was quarantines, those 15 days. So that the COVID thing, as awful and horrendous as it is and has been for so many people, it forced me into solitude. And I'm married, and my wife and I have 3 kids, and being able to find 15 days to sit down and write. And I was writing like 12 hours a day. I mean, we gemmed out 80,000. Wow. I gemmed out 80,000 words in 15 days on 2 occasions. And so to be able to find the time to do that, like, it only was made possible because of the forced limitations that COVID put on our lives. So, God willing, I haven't gotten sick. None of my family's gotten sick. I know that it's caused so much grief and division, but I'm also looking at the silver lining of it, and I can't help but be grateful for the time that it afforded me to be able to do the things that I've been able to do. And weirdly, like within the first week of the pandemic, I had this sort of fever dream about a children's book. And so before Anna Gomez and I even became collaborators, I woke up and wrote a children's book. And then over the course of the year, I'll show you one illustration. Over the course of the year, this is you guys are breaking a story right now.
Oh, we love that.
I'm using your podcast to, so I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is an illustration of a children's book that I wrote called How Are You Loved? Here's the title page.
Oh, cute.
Illustrated.
Love that.
We did this amazing job, and that kicked off my pandemic. That kicked off the whole thing, and then Anna Gomez and the Kona with Love series happened quickly thereafter, and I have been able to work and was able to make some movies thanks to Hallmark and Universal. So it's been productive.
Yeah, that's great. I think that has hopefully been, even if it's just like a silly thing during the pandemic, like, baking sourdough or something like that. Like, hopefully it has inspired all of us to learn something new or found new aspects to our lives.
I would argue, because I'm doing the Polaha Chautauqua, and I would argue I'm talking to these different people all over the world, and while the first 3 or 4 months was causing a lot of anxiety and depression for most of us, I think everyone kind of, if you had the tools mentally and physically to wrap your mind around what was happening, I think most people were able to take a hold of this, the tiger by the tail, so to speak, with COVID, and just ride it in a direction that was unexpected. I know so many people started new careers, or in the one that they were already on, or focused the pursuits that they had. Relationships became, I mean, how many Zoom birthdays did we have last year? Or
a lot of quarantine babies.
Baby, there's a lot there for everyone.
That's right. Oh, very good. Well, so last time you were on, we talked to you about Wonder Woman 84.
Yes,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your part, and I was going into the movie, I was like, okay, he said it's going to be small and it's going to be something that we'll be tickled by. And so I'd already told my husband, because I knew I'm a person who has to have a reaction to stuff. Like, I'm just that person. So I said, okay, when I see him, I'm going to like elbow you persistently for like, 2 minutes. And so you come on the screen and I'm elbowing him and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like so excited. And I did think it was funny. I had fun with it. I thought it was funny. And I enjoyed your part in the movie.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you. I caught the movie caught a little flack. It's so funny. My buddy called me on December 26th, and he woke up and he's like, dude, I just went on Twitter. And he's like, you are all over my Twitter feed. And I'm like, why? What happened? He's like, handsome man, like raped by Wonder Woman. Like, there was no consent. What happened? People got so bothered by the fact that his body was taken over and then put into combat. All this stuff, happens to this guy. And they're like, where's his family? Did he have was anybody worried about this guy? And I was like, well,
yeah.
Of course, my immediate pitch was like, well, what if my guy was the Duke of Deception? And like, what if he is like, he knew that he was up to this and put Steve Trevor in his own body because he wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. People take these superhero movies very seriously sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
But
I was along for the ride. I thought it was funny. I didn't think too hard about it. So
yeah, you're like, I liked it.
Yeah.
I remember before it aired, you were so excited because that's your favorite superhero movie, right?
Yeah, it's definitely Rachel's favorite, but I mean, I love it as well. I just love superhero movies. They're great.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk Mystery 101. This second movie, The Deadly History, I think it was. So the internet exploded at the ending of that movie. We have to talk about it. So what was happening? What is going on? And you're going to make more, right? Can you tell us? Do you know?
I can tell you that we will make more.
Woo, that's really
they're canceling these mystery series left and right. We're getting really concerned.
I think that I'm speaking so out of school right now because I do not work for Hallmark other than I'm a brand ambassador as an actor for them. I love, the Christmas movies that I get to do, obviously Mystery 101, and I hope to be in business with them for many years to come. But I don't speak for them, and I do not speak, I don't know the in and outs of what they're doing day to day. I know that they are rejiggering their approach to mysteries. And I think that, as a viewer, I think you can see a lot of redundancies between the different mysteries. It's like a girl with a quirky job meets up with a cop and then they solve crimes together. And so I think the idea is, why don't we do mysteries and just make them a little more interesting or a little more diverse or a little more, let's just kind of mix up the formula. But I do know that Mystery 101 has performed really, really, really well for the network. They get big numbers rating wise, and they sell overseas internationally. And I think, per a few conversations I've had with people at the network, that there's still very much a heartbeat in the show, and still very much love to continue telling the story of Travis and Amy and Graham, and so there will be more. I think that the fans can take a deep breath and know that there is more to come.
Were you surprised when you read that ending?
Oh my
script? Yeah.
I read it and I said, holy cow, wait a minute, what? I already shaved. Like, we should have shot this first. I was like, I had a beard. Like, why didn't we just use that? And I was like, so what happens? And basically, I mean, I know what happens. I could spoil it for everybody,
Yeah.
but I don't think that'd be
I mean, it's been so long. We can talk about it. It's fine.
Not really. Yeah.
But I mean, it made no sense. Like, why does she all of a sudden have this new person in her? Like, what?
When you hear
Find out.
Kristoffer's take on what we have number 8. Like number 8's locked and loaded. It's written. It's ready to go. And when you hear what he has done with it, you guys will be. The payoff is worth all of the drama.
Good. People were
It
upset.
better be. I was upset. I was just sad. I was like, we have this romantic scene where they're like above this staircase railing and like so sweet. And then it's like whiplash, bam, your heart's broken in a million pieces. I was like, no.
What? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, my mom texted me. She was like, did I see what I just thought I saw? I rewound it.
You know what's amazing though? I gotta be honest. How cool is it that we got away with that on a Hallmark mystery movie? That we were able to
barely got away with it.
Well, but we did though. Like, I mean, what we did, here's what happened. We took something that everyone was expecting to go one way and did something completely different with it. And yes, people are upset and people have threatened never to watch again. And they broke the internet and people are like, how dare you? And I was like, okay, we get it. However, there is anticipation for what's to come. I think that like, even, I mean, like across the board, like everyone's like, it was smart. Like I think it was a brilliant move on John's part. Like I think he was the guy who, it was his idea. And the network let him do with it. So it was a brilliant part on, Randy Pope and everybody at Hallmark who agreed to it. Heather is our executive, sort of our VP, Heather Overton, and she was, like her support and her encouragement for the story to be told the way it was. And then Stacy, who directed it, like we just had a great director. And I loved where it was going, where it became more of a threesome with, you had Graham, Amy, and then Travis, and each of them were kind of moving to solve this. So there was an evolution in the nature of the show, which I think is healthy and smart. And I'm excited to see, if we push through with 8 as it's written, or if we kind of alter that and see what happens when it happens, and we'll see what happens.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast.
Sometimes love needs a little push. Lizzie Shane, the award-winning author of The 12 Dogs of Christmas, has a brand new small-town romance set in Pine Hollow, Vermont, where every happily ever after begins with adopting an adorable rescue dog.
First love gets a second chance into All the Dogs I've Loved Before when the town librarian, mischievous Australian Shepherd, keeps getting loose and fetching her ex, the town sheriff.
Lizzie Shane's Pine Hollow series has been called an irresistible blend of heart, humor, and a whole lot of puppy love.
And To All the Dogs I've Loved Before is available now wherever books are sold.
To learn more, visit www.lizzieshane.com.
That's lizzieshane.com.
In the meantime, there's a whole nother cycle starting on a whole nother network. And you guys, are you like,
I saw that. I saw that about Lifetime series you're gonna be in.
Ooh.
It's
with Angie Harmon.
It's Angie Harmon. Yeah. Tentatively, it's called Barstow. And I've mentioned this. I teased this on my Chautauqua, but I had to show my bum, my naked bum. I mean,
not on Hallmark anymore.
That's ain't your Hallmark movie, baby. Slap a bacon. We'll see how that turns out, but I'm pretty excited about that. That was Howie Deutsch directed it. Howie Deutsch, you know Howie Deutsch from.
Do you know when that's coming on?
I don't yet, but I do know that that the folks at Lifetime were watching the dailies and they're really excited about it, and I know that they just did an announcement in is it Deadline?
Yeah, it was like this week or something last week.
Monday or Tuesday or something.
But well,
because that's
real quick, we have to ask you about the Jurassic World Dominion. Obviously, you can't tell us much, but that must have been an amazing thing to be part of such a spectacle movie.
Oh my gosh.
Rachel, it was like when people say like, what's your favorite job? I'm going to now have to say forevermore that it was Jurassic World Dominion, because we started filming February in Canada in the snow with horses and just these amazing, beautiful, we were like way up in Canada, further north and east than I'd ever been in my life. And there was a stuntman there named Danny Virtue, who has been around forever, long white hair. And this guy he's just a horseman. Like he knows horses, like big wave surfers know waves. And so that's where we started. And this was pre-pandemic. And then all of a sudden everything shut down. And so now we're supposed to go, and we filmed the rest of it in the UK. So we went to London to film at Pinewood Studios, and everything shut down.
Gosh.
I remember when Donald Trump was like, no more flights, we're not flying any flights. And I was like, what's happening? We're done. Like the movie, what's happening? And the director, Colin Trevorrow, called up and was like, I've been able to devise a plan, and Universal's bought it. And we are going to be the tip of the spear. We're going to be the first production to start shooting in all of the world. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're going to start back up June 1st. We're all going to live at a hotel together. So we're going to become like one family. So we literally, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, Chris, Dallas Howard, Scott Hayes,
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, like everybody in the movie was living in this hotel. And we would go to work, and then we'd come home, and you would just like see each other and hang out because there was nothing else to do. And there were some parks that we were allowed to like run in, and so there was a little bit of movement. But it was just this extraordinary experience. DeWanda Wise is in it; she's amazing. Deachin Lockman's in it. Campbell Scott is in it. I mean, we're talking like it's an amazing cast of people. And then, and again, small part, spoiler. All I'm doing is I'm limiting myself to tiny little roles in these giant blockbusters because I just want to increase my footprint on the Hallmark. You know, I need to up my stakes at the Hallmark company. But again, it was one of those jobs where, when you see it, my character has these little pockets that go throughout. Colin Trevorrow, the guy who wrote it and directed it, he created it for fans of Jurassic Park and World. It is the greatest capstone to a trilogy or a 6-part anthology in the history of cinema. I honestly think it's going to break records. I think it's going to be the biggest movie of all time. Wow. It's genius. It's literally the story that he tells and the way that he wove the old Jurassic Park for dads like me and for I was a kid when that movie came out. And what he's done with Jurassic World, all of it. I'm writing an article, hopefully for like Vanity Fair or for New York or someplace. I'm going to try to submit it to one of those, but about Colin and his journey with the Jurassic Park franchise, because it's been going since the 90s, and he's 100% the man for this job, and he crushed it.
Can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to. I have to say the last one was not my favorite, so I hope I love this one.
Because Colin, there was a whole thing. He started Jurassic World and then was going to go do Star Wars, and then someone else did. Now we're getting, but number 2 was the setup. So
yeah, cool.
It was always the bridge, but we knew that when we saw it. That's why you were like, okay, that's the bridge.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Right. Well, we have a Dickens of a Holiday coming up on Hallmark Channel, and this sounds really fun.
Super fun.
And so you're putting on a production of Christmas Carol or something like that. What is it exactly?
So here's what I'm going to say, ladies. I've done how many Hallmark movies now? How many do we know of? Like,
I'm
I don't
not
know,
sure.
11 or
A lot.
12.
I think it's like 7.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
well, that's just Hallmark. That's not including mysteries, but
the mysteries. Yeah. So for the Christmas movies though, I've done like I think 4. This month, this month maybe my 5th one. This is my favorite. Like I'm super biased. You even did this. We ranked it. I was like, I can't rank babies. Like, I'm ranking them. This kid is my favorite kid.
okay.
Julie Sherman Wolf script. I can't wait.
Yeah, it was the most fun I've had. Brooke Dorsey was an unbelievably awesome leading lady to work with. So encouraging, whip smart, funny, just the best sense of humor. Antonio Cupo, who's also an actor. You guys have known
Love him.
Mm-hmm.
He was our producer, like our creative producer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Whip smart. Like the guy would be like, great, that was a great take, but what if you tried it like, and I was like, great, didn't think to do that, let's do it. And then personally, I don't know if you guys have watched closely enough the movies, but my character in Rocky Mountain Christmas, Graham, was very specific. Like I wanted him to be this very specific character. And then when I got cast in Hearts of Christmas, I was like, well, I can't be the same guy. So he's altered. He's a little different. And then when I did Small Town Christmas, I obviously imitated Jimmy Stewart and was like, I'm going to create a totally different, character. And then Double Holiday was divergent enough where I didn't feel the need to like do anything other than just be like the guy that you saw in Dater's Handbook, or the guy that like just a charming actor. But one of my goals with Hallmark was always to do like a British accent, to really go deep dive on character acting. And in A Dickens of a Holiday, I get to have a British accent. I get to play Santa Claus. I get to play this total D-bag of a Hollywood. Come on, everybody. And then like all of a sudden he turns into this really sweet guy. And you're like, I like it.
I love that.
Really fun. Like personally, the experience was good, clean, pure fun. And then the job itself, like the role that I got to play, was just such a just a juicy joy. So I can't wait to share it with the audience. And I think that people are going to really, really love it.
Does your character have like a Scrooge Christmas Carol arc throughout the movie?
He does, yeah, because he starts out like think in terms of, when I say A-list movie star, think of terms like literally like Vin Diesel. Like imagine Vin Diesel. Like we haven't seen him really stretch his acting muscles, but he's super successful in his Fast and Furious franchise. The dude makes gobs of money. He's a big movie star. Yeah. But he's not like Timothy Chalamet, or he's not like Leonardo DiCaprio. He's not like somebody who like we're like, and so my character, Jake, his last name is Dorsey. And I'm
Dorsey. That's good. Yeah.
Brooke Dorsey. Jake Dorsey is like, he's just an A-list movie star. And he's got this franchise called Full Throttle. And yeah, exactly. Hallmark always runs the line of like almost inappropriate. We're like, skew that a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it's like, he's lost. He doesn't come home anymore for Christmas. He's abandoned his sort of roots for the sake of, being big time Hollywood guy, and has an assistant, does the whole thing. And then comes home only because he thinks that this girl that he loved in high school, who Brooke plays, and her name is Cassie, went off and became a big time Broadway director, and that she's coming home to direct A Christmas Carol. And he thinks it's just going to be good for his career. He thinks by playing Ebenezer Scrooge with this big time Broadway director as the director, it's going to give him sort of that boost that he needs, because there's this movie called The Dunes of Eastland, which is a fictional book that his mother, who has passed away, was her favorite book, and he wants to play the lead, and they're not taking him serious. So the stakes are high for Jake. Like he needs to prove himself as an actor so that the director, or so that the producers of Dunes of Eastland see him as a legitimate actor to like play this part. And through the course of the film, you see this softening of like who he is as a man, and you see him become better as an actor. It's really fun. It's fun. It's cool. And
sounds really good.
The job for me was, I had to create enough of an arc. Like I had to do two things. One, Jake has to start here like as a blowhard, and here like as an actor. Like he has to be not a good actor, and a big blowhard. And then through the course of the film, you have to see those two things like shift, so that as an actor, you buy it, and then as a person, you buy it. So that pay off for the relationship. And then Cassie, played by Brooke, her story is amazing because she did go to New York, got married, gave up her dreams, got divorced, and she's actually back home living with her mom, kind of licking her wounds. And it's her first time directing in like 7 years. And so she's terrified. And then this big A-list movie star shows up and starts to steamroll her. And she's like, hold on, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden you see how they work. I mean, so it's really, it's great. Like, it's a great movie.
Do you think that this is a movie that would have been made on Hallmark a few years ago? Or do you think it has a lot of new stuff that they're trying to change up stuff in it?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw my little Instagram post on @Polaha, but I was like, "Thank you, Nanny's Christmas movie," and it's on a car with a green screen behind me. I think they allowed it to go to a little different place. And then one of the, like, me as a goofball, Polaha as an actor, I was like, I'm not going to wear a scarf in this movie. And I told Antonio, and I said, I'm just not going to wear a scarf. And he's like, are you serious? Because they came to me, costume came to me one day. They're like, which scarf do you want? I was like, I don't wear either one of those. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, no. I said, let's just do a Hallmark movie where the guy doesn't wear a scarf. We want to see how radical it can be. Let's do that. So there are changes.
Thinking outside the box.
There are changes that are happening. I mean, but I mean, honestly though, like when I say that the evolution at Hallmark, I don't think that these movies are so radically different than they were even 2-3 years ago, 5 years ago. I think that they've got more attention. I think the talent that's being drawn to them continues to just be more interesting and more diverse, and so that you're getting this broader, wider group of people who are wanting to come play in the sandbox. But I think the Hallmark bubble, that little snow globe that Hallmark sets up that we invest in and sort of disappear into, and the reason why people love these movies so much is that it's a world that you enter because you want to be in that world yourself, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's changed. I don't think that it's I think it's still the same feel good, that it's always been.
It has a fun cast with Brooke, and then also Camille Mitchell is in it, who I got to interview a couple of weeks ago, and I just loved her so much. It was so fun, and I didn't know Antonio was involved. That's great.
Yeah, Antonio Cupo, Chad Willett. Have you guys ever met Chad Willett?
No. That sounds familiar, but I can't picture what he looks like. Yeah.
And he worked with Brooke in a previous film. I forget which one, but he plays my older brother, and again, it's got all of the juicy. I mean, our dad is MIA, mom died 5 years ago in the story, and brother and I don't get along, and it's got all the tenets of a Hallmark movie. And even like with Rocky Mountain Christmas, he was an actor, sort of along the lines of like me or Jake Gyllenhaal, or somebody who's a serious actor who's going to study the role and wants to get deep into their part and goes to a ranch to study what ranch life is and falls in love. So it was tamer, but this whole idea of like, it's that wish fulfillment, right? It's when the prince comes into town, or the movie star on disguise comes into town, and you realize you fall in love with the person, and then you realize all this good stuff comes with the package. You're like, oh wait, you're rich and you're famous and you're this and that and the other. That's kind of, I think, so that hasn't changed. I think that's all still there.
Yeah.
It's just it's approached differently. Like on the front end, we know this guy's, he's a bit of an a-hole. He's like, who is this guy? And I played him so that he would kind of be unlikable at the front end. So
I'm sure it will be.
We'll see how it goes.
I love how he storms into the auditorium saying "bah humbug" like he's excited. I just love that in the promo. It's so funny.
And also, like, who interrupts a rehearsal with their entrance? It's like most people stand quietly at the back of the room with their coat in their arms and wait to be like brought into the room. And he's like, I'm here, everybody. Like, being late, like it's being like 5 hours late for a podcast interview.
So it's exciting. I mean, because the last time they did a Christmas Carol kind of esque movie, it was fine, but they had one, like Jessie Schramm's character was supposed to be the Scrooge character. People were like begging to work with her. And Jessie Schramm is great, but like I don't know. It was just funny. I was like, I've never seen a Scrooge archetype where people like loved it so much. Like only on Hallmark Channel.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, you know what's funny? Brooke was like, I've always been told to be lovely. Like that's my main note is like smile and be lovely. Smile and be lovely. And I was like, ooh. It's like that's one way to approach it. But like, what if you actually feel the emotion that you're feeling right now? Like there's this wonderful scene at the end. Her performance, like she cries and she just drops into this place where it's just true raw emotion. It was a beautiful performance. I remember being there in the day and just, being an actor is really wonderful because you're in the moment, but at the same time, you're also an observer.
Yeah.
And you have a front row seat to somebody's work. And I remember when Paul Ziller yelled cut, the director, I was like, holy cow, Brooke, that was the opposite of lovely and smiling through something. I was like, that was like really amazing acting. And you just crushed it. And she was like, I hope they use it.
Yeah.
Places, so,
she's great. We love her.
I haven't seen the movie, so I could watch it with you guys and be like, ooh, what happened? We had so much good stuff.
If you want to, we're available. We'll have a watch party.
So I'm going to be at that Christmas con thing, right?
That's right. Yeah, you are. Yeah.
And the movie airs Friday night.
Oh.
So if any of your listeners are going to be there, I'm going to try to put on a rogue, a guerrilla style screening at the hotel somewhere. I'm going to find a venue that can house enough people. We'll make sure that it's COVID appropriate or safe. I don't know how, but we'll figure it out. I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm going to try to watch it live with fans who are there. And Brooke said she's in, so it'll be like a live viewing party.
We'll put in a good word for us. We would love to interview Brooke, but she's like impossible to get a hold of. But
yes,
I've loved her ever since Drop Dead Diva.
Yeah, she doesn't. It's so funny. She's like, she's not alive on Instagram. She's got
nothing.
But she doesn't post. And I'm like, why? And she's like, I'll do an interview if it's with you, but otherwise, I'm just
man. Well,
someday, we lost it.
It was your shot. You never asked.
I mean, I thought about it, but I was like, I don't know. She's so great. We just love her. So, well,
tell her we love her.
You.
And we love you. So, well, very good. We're excited about the movie. Congratulations on all you've accomplished and going forward. We're looking forward to everything coming up, especially when we get to figure out the real ending for Mystery 101.
Yes, I will be on my couch waiting for it to start.
Now I'm just hoping it's going to pay off. I was going to be like, John, Kristoffer Polaha, dude, you better make this next one amazing.
Tell him we're upset.
Yes, you have our attention, that's for sure. So
what we should do one day is have like because you could do like, we'll get John, Robin, Jill, and I. It would be fun to do like get Preston Vanderslice involved.
Yes, we're available.
Name the time, name the place.
All right.
Fancy Hollywood Critic Association member we got.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us. We really appreciate it. We hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas.
Yes. And
what's your social media? People want to follow you.
Yeah, please come check it out. It's Polaha. That's at Polaha on Instagram. It's at Chris Polaha on Twitter. Not so present on Facebook, but specifically Instagram is my jam over there. And I'm pretty active, and I do a weekly show live on Sundays that people can always jump in on. And I just we'll go through, and we have it's almost a course. So there's a theme for a semester, and then I just go live with people for a semester. I just bring people on, and they tell their stories. It's a cool way to share the meaning of life.
Very good. All right. Very good. Well, thanks so much. And have a Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
I'd like to thank Kristoffer for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun. We really had a great time talking with him. Hope you all enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And Anne, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at awscott21.
And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And then also make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. 5 stars, please. We really appreciate it so much. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which is really fun. And we're having director David Weaver on to watch Christmas Town next week. So make sure you check that out. And then we also have the merch store, which has tons of fun holiday inspired designs and Hallmark and Hardee's and Postables. So if you have somebody you're looking for a gift for, perfect place to go. Check out our TeePublic store, and all the information's in the description. So thank you so much again to Kristoffer, and we'll talk to y'all later. Merry Christmas. Bye,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. Bye.